Hi, and welcome to Empowered Voices, stories from the Arc of Greater Boone County. I'm Pam Verbarg, and I'm here today with another member of our leadership team, Margaret, who's going to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her history with the Arc of Greater Boone County.
Hi, my name is Margaret Oberweiser. I've been here for a little over 11 years, which seems like a long time when I think about it.
It really does.
Yeah. I first started out being a job coach at a different company in Indiana. And then what brought me here was a grant from the Community Foundation of Boone County. And it was a transition grant for somebody to work with the kids with disabilities in the 3 high schools in Boone County, Zionsville, Western Boone, and Lebanon. So that's first how I got here, helping kids transition out, maybe either to a job or volunteering, or maybe some school that they wanted to go to. And everything was individualized to whatever they wanted to do, how they wanted to spend their day.
And Margaret, that program over the years has evolved a lot because when you started, it was just a grant. And I shouldn't say just a grant,
Right.
but it was started as a grant. But then eventually the state actually made this a program, didn't they?
Right. So after I did that for a little over 3 years, but then it turned into the pre-ed system, which is pre-employment transition services. So we are still in the high schools in Boone County, but we have expanded to some other high schools in the areas as well. And that, after they go through pre-eds, then they could go into vocational rehabilitation, where you can find a job and they have job coaches that help you find the job and kind of keep the job if you're having problems with it. So yes, and we're still doing that today. So,
Which is awesome.
yes. And that was one of the departments that I used to help out with.
And then after you left the transition program, about the time I actually started 8 years ago, you moved into a new role working with our supported living program. So tell us a little bit about that too.
Right. So I took over when somebody retired for supported living, which that department here at the ARC has DSPs go out with the people that we serve one-on-one in the community. They can volunteer somewhere if they want to and kind of figure out what their interests are if they want to volunteer, or they can help them go shopping, or they can work out at the Y, or just any kind of community activities that they might want to do. So it's kind of to help them live more independently and just more fulfilled, I think.
And listeners, in case you didn't know, DSP is what we call our frontline staff, which is a direct support professional. It's terminology that's very, very common in our field, which we get very used to using. So bear with us a little bit as we go through some of that. And Margaret, one thing I want to point out, though, with this program is you have grown this program a small amount over the last 8 years, haven't you?
Right.
I think when I started, we were at about 10 or 15 people that we were supporting in this program.
Right. And we currently have around 80 that we work with right now.
And yes, I was being sarcastic about a small amount of growth. We have grown that program a lot in the last 8 years.
Right. Now, it was kind of tough during COVID, but ever since after COVID and coming out of COVID, it has grown.
So tell me a little bit about where people live in supported living.
Well, they can either live with their parents. Some of the people that we serve live with their parents, or they live by themselves. And we kind of help them live more independently by themselves if they live in their own apartments. And then we also support a couple people in a couple 24-hour sites.
So people can get services that vary a lot depending on what their needs and their wants are too.
Right. It's all individualized. Basically, we meet, we try to figure out what that person is actually looking for. We actually have some people that we serve that don't want us there. At certain times, they like their own independence and like to be by themselves sometimes. So we just kind of work with each person to see what their wants and needs are, and then we try to find staff for those times.
And how old do people have to be to get into this program?
Well, 18, I mean, 18, but we also serve people that are 70. I mean, but we also serve younger people, but if they're in supported living and they're living in their houses, we have younger people, basically all ages. It depends. I think a lot of people have gotten the waiver a lot sooner, so we have more younger people that we serve.
So basically for the residential type programs, folks have to be 18 or over.
Yes.
But there really isn't an age limit to that lower end for people who might live with their families.
No.
Right now is the youngest person about 5, I think, that we serve.
Probably around 5, and they could only be using the waiver. They're not, maybe we just work with them. We do respite where it's just kind of a break for the guardian. So maybe we're only working with them a couple hours a week or just sporadically whenever the guardian needs help.
And that's one of the really cool things about the program is it really is there to help people get the support they need when they need it.
Right.
And I understand, actually, I know this, but you've also taken on a couple of different programs over the last year as well.
Yes.
You're also working with Family Opportunity in the WIC program too, correct?
Yes. I just help manage the different activities for the family opportunities, which I know will be changing a little bit in this next year. And then the WIC office here and in Hendricks County, just helping manage the employees and kind of how that is all set up.
And again, these programs have changed a lot over the last few years too, obviously. And if you don't care if I just jump in a little bit, she's nodding her head. Listeners, is Family Opportunity is a program we started with a grant from United Way of Central Indiana. We're in our 3rd year there, and we've gone from being a capacity building grantee to what's called a fully funded program now. So that program can work with families with kids without disabilities under the age of 18 or families with children up to, and I use the term children loosely, up to 24. So it's basically their children who are then young adults who may still be in the education system as well, to help them obtain more independence, both in terms of personal education and workforce development. So Margaret's helping Allison work on that program, and we're going to have an upcoming episode where we talk more about that program and how people can get more involved with that and some of the new exciting things we're doing with that program with some of the new funding as well. And then, of course, WIC is the state program that works with pregnant women and families in need with children under the age of 5, and helps assess them for their benefits, does health screenings, breastfeeding support, and lots of other support for those families. And that program, again, with the growth in the county, has been growing a lot over the last few years as well. And we've also taken on Hendricks County as well. So Margaret's assistance in those programs has been instrumental in helping those programs continue to grow and maintain stability as well. So Margaret, tell me a little bit about what you find most challenging about your role.
I think the challenging part for us in supported living is finding and keeping good employees to help and work the service hours with the people that we serve. So, it is hard to find and just keep everybody because being consistent obviously is the best thing for the people that we serve. So if they can keep the same people over a long period of time and form those kind of friendships and relationships, that's the best outcomes for our clients. I think that brings the best outcomes for our
And obviously, this job isn't for everybody.
right.
It's human services. It takes, and I always cringe when people tell me I'm a special kind of person for working in this field, but there are skills that staff have to have in
Right.
working with people, correct?
Right. Correct. And I always try to, like if somebody comes on part time, generally they end up liking it and then they want more hours and more hours, which we always try to uh, find different people for them to work with, and so they end up normally becoming full time,
Which is
which is
terrific.
yes,
And it creates obviously advancement opportunities for people too.
yes.
Tell us what's most rewarding about your role.
Um, the most rewarding thing is the friendships with the people that we serve, the long term friendships, and just being involved in the lives of the people that we serve here at the Arc.
We've also seen a couple of staff get promoted recently too, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We had somebody leave, and so the team lead for our department has now become the manager, Carissa Smith, and so she is now the manager of supported living, which is awesome. Which is good because she has all those relationships um, with all the clients and the guardians uh, for our 24-hour sites, and just so the continuity of keeping that is healthy, I think, for
And it's
our group.
exciting. And it's exciting to see those growth opportunities actually happening from within the organization.
Yes,
Because there are times within nonprofits, especially smaller nonprofits, where we struggle sometimes to find that right fit. And I don't think there was any hesitation when this person decided she was moving on about who was the right fit for this job. So
correct.
it's
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to feel that, isn't it?
it is. It is. It's. I feel like it's going to be a smooth transition.
Awesome. So one last thing I'd like you to share with us is, without giving names, tell us a little bit about a success story from somebody that you support.
Um, well, I was thinking of a couple success stories. One is that we have continued to serve the one of the 24-hour sites for over 6 years, um, with a couple people, which to me, when I think back, just the consistency of it and that we've been able to do it for 6 years and they've been able to live pretty independently, um, is great. It's a great feeling to know that they've been there that long. I, for some reason, didn't realize like that we had been serving them um, for over 6 years now. So that's been a pretty positive thing for us. Another thing I was thinking is that we just started volunteering with Chicken Nugget and Gang. So one of
And that's an amazing small nonprofit here in town that does support animals.
mhm. So we are starting to well, over the last couple months, we had a gentleman that we serve that really likes to organize, and so we're going out there once a week. So just anytime we can try to connect somebody with any kind of community, uh, that's what we want to do. So, hopefully over time they'll form friendships of people that come in and out of there looking for animals. And so yeah, it'll be a good experience for them and him. So
And those are just a couple of examples of the success stories that have come out of this program. I can think of probably 5 or 6 more just right off the top of my head without even really thinking.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want the listeners to know today, Margaret?
Um just that, um, like if you're out in Lebanon, if you're out in the community, um, you know, if you see any of our employees, they want to make the community connections. So they want.
And if people want to, if they have opportunities, they can just call us too, can't they?
Yes.
So that's another thing, is go on our website, thearcgbc.org, or give us a call here at our office, 765-482-6815. And you can always help us connect with people in the community too.
Yep.
Well, Margaret, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I hope listeners, you enjoyed getting to know her a little bit. I'm excited about continuing to share introductions with our leadership and management teams, because we have a fabulous team here and they don't get shared enough around the community. So we want to use this as an opportunity to get to know them a little more. Um, Again, thank you for joining us today for Empowered Voices, Stories from the Arc of Greater Boone County. We'll see you next time.